All right. The Astros, they did something they couldn't do the day before. They gave the bullpen a little bit more margin of victory. They actually cashed in on some of the runners in scoring position, some of the runners on base. And we're going to talk about this and more. And what the heck what did Zack Greinke eat for dinner tonight? Because he had some oomph on his pitches today. We'll talk about this and more on today's Locked On Astros podcast.
It's the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Heisman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chansey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Heisman. You can find me on Twitter at Eric Talks Stros. You can find the show at Locked On Astros, your team every day. Brett, where can you find you at?
They can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on Twitter and at Stros411 on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Always positive, always Stros.
All right, this was the Astros offense that we were expecting when you play the A's. The Astros scored 8 runs, and the A's only scored one run. And the game started with Jose Altuve. It makes people think, okay, George Springer, who? With Jose Altuve keep on hitting these first pitch home runs. And it was just like, I think Blummer was like, hey, we can't even set up the game. You're not even giving us a chance to kind of set up everything. So Jose Altuve just is awesome. I know he only got 2 hits in 6 at-bats today, but that first one kind of set the tone for the game. And there's just so much to talk about on this edition of the Locked On Astros podcast. And today's episode is brought to you by Locker Room. Download the app and join us this week. We're probably going to either do it on Friday or Saturday night after the game and get into the action. Locker Room. It's changing the way we talk sports. And don't forget to go to subscribe to us on YouTube. And we are trying to pump up this YouTube channel. And guys, if you're listening to this through Apple, through Spotify, Odyssey, wherever you are, go subscribe to us on YouTube. And let's go and get our subscribers up so we can get to that magic number of 1,000. So we can be like one of those luxury podcast on YouTube, and let's become like the Astros and be the bosses of the AL West and take care of business. And maybe we can go out there and throw a no-hitter like Corey Kluber can against the Rangers. So there's so much for us to talk about. I don't even know where to start with. Let's kind of talk about Zack Greinke's day. I mean, he was throwing 93 miles per hour in the first inning. And this is something that we have not seen from Zack Greinke since he's come to the Astros. He's been averaging 88 and 89 miles per hour.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, ever he since looked good today.
And he looked like he found the fountain of youth, and he looked like maybe not old school Zack Greinke where he's throwing 95, 94. Right. But this was a great guy.
No, yeah, definitely. This is the second start in a row that he's come out and he's dealt, and he's done a great job. Like you said, I believe he had 20-plus pitches that were 91 miles an hour or more in this game. And he, at one point, went from 61 miles per hour to 74 to 91. Like, the only people that do that are, me trying to pass someone that's going slow in the left-hand lane, or Zack Greinke on the mound, who's your consummate veteran. And he lowered his ERA. He's got the lowest ERA now at Oakland Coliseum, Ricky Henderson Field. Good Lord, I'm botching all the names. 2.28, I believe. It's the lowest in the AL. So he has had a lot of success there. And it's really good because guess what his start did? It saved the bullpen. And when I say save the bullpen, we all know that the bullpen has been something that has been pretty much the talk of the town here in Houston. It's not the starting pitching. It's not this offense. But there are so many good things to pull from this, Eric. You had Gurriel 4 for 5 today. You had Brantley 3 for 5. You had Myles Straw 3 for 5 today. I mean, top to bottom of this lineup, outside of a couple people grounding into some double plays here and there, what a way to pick up your starter. Because at first, Eric, the Astros, they started by leaving a lot of guys on base after that 2 spot in the first inning.
Yeah, and it kind of had the feeling like, okay, are we going to waste another one of Greinke's great starts? Because there's been so many games where Greinke could not last 4 innings, past 4 innings, but this was one of those games where Greinke was dealing. He pitched 8 innings and only threw 89 pitches. Dusty Baker could have left him in there to go ahead and finish the game, but instead they brought Kent Emanuel. And we had a Kent Emanuel sighting. You should be jumping for joy, Brett. This is what you've been waiting for. Why aren't you like, oh, yeah. You should be jumping.
Well, here's the thing. I honestly didn't think they were going to bring in a relief pitcher, but I'm glad they brought in Kent Emanuel. He came in, he struck out his first batter, basically froze Canna. I think Canna was looking for something outside. He threw it inside, and it threw him off so much that he didn't realize that thing. It was a meatball. It was right over the, I'd say inside middle of the plate. But that was great to see Kent Emanuel come in to get a clean inning. But, 8 strikeouts, 0 walks. 0 walks. Walks has been a thing for this team, has been an issue, a sticking point. And Zack Greinke in those 3 starts where he only went 4 innings. And Clay Hensley called it last night on the show. He said, I think Zack Greinke is going to come out and he's going to pitch well. And you know what? He was right. He did.
Yeah, before the game, he came in with a 4.18 ERA. He's given up a little bit more walks than you would like. I remember the one game he gave up like 3 or 4, if I remember correctly. So this was a great. I have it right here. So yeah, one game versus the Yankees, he gave up 4 walks, and then versus the Tigers, I remember that game he gave up 3 walks. And so that's just not the Zack Greinke we all know and love. And before the game, he was kind of creeping in the little closet or whatever you call that there. And
yeah, he was just so that's apparently where Julia Morales stands during the game, because TK and Blummer were like, hey, that's where Julia's supposed to be standing. And yeah, it was almost like he was like, do you see me? I'm over here. I'm waiting for the game to start. He has this aura about him. So, Eric, tell me, what did Jose Altuve do today when he hit that home run? What did he extend?
He extended his hitting streak to 13 games, and he was on a 12-game streak, and he's been on fire. I know that when he came back from the COVID, testing positive for COVID, he kind of went through a little rough patch, but now this dude's on fire, and he is hitting everything. I know he only got the 2 hits, but the first one was a no-doubt homer, and then the second one was a single up the middle, or I think it was right past the shortstop, but there was no way he was going to catch that. And this guy is just he's just got it, and he's back to who he's supposed to be. He's batting .308 on season. He's got OPS of 829. Michael Brantley has a 828 OPS. Bregman has a 862 OPS. Alvarez has a 959 OPS. Gurriel has a 984 OPS. Correa has a 757 OPS. Kyle Tucker has raised his up to 764 OPS. I can imagine opposing teams coming to Houston or facing the Astros being like, wait, we have to face this team? Can't we just go ahead and face the Mariners and the Rangers all the time? Because that would be awesome. That would just be kind of like just going to Wealthfront and just getting like the best advice and just like, oh yeah, let's just face them all the time.
Yeah, let me tell you about Wealthfront. Investing can be complicated, but whether you're a beginner or you've been investing for years, Wealthfront has you covered. They make it easy. They have the right tools for every portfolio. Wealthfront can create a portfolio of globally diversified, low-cost index funds personalized just for you in minutes. No annual trades, no picking stocks, no waiting on the stock market every day. They automatically handle all of the investing based on preferences that you select. Wealthfront can even help you lower the taxes you pay as you invest. For the average client, their tax loss harvesting can more than cover the low annual 0.25% advisory fee. Best of all, it's automatic. Wealthfront is trusted with over $20 billion of assets, and you can get your first $5,000 managed for free going to wealthfront.com/LockedOnMLB. All you need is $500 to get started today. Grow your wealth is the easy way, and let Wealthfront do the work for you. So get your first $5,000 managed for free for life. That's right, I said for life. Go to wealthfront.com/LockedOnMLB. That's WEALTHFRONT.com/LockedOnMLB and start growing your savings at wealthfront.com/LockedOnMLB. Go save today.
Speaking of saving, let's talk about rockauto.com. That seems like a great place to get that parts for your vehicle.
Yeah, rockauto.com is important because when you're trying to repair your car, you're trying to find a replacement part, you don't want to have to go to a store where you have to wait for weeks on end. You have to get charged a different price because you're not a professional mechanic and you haven't made a deal with the guy at the counter. Go to rockauto.com. 20 years in the making, a family business, an easily navigable website from carpet to windshield wipers to brake pads, you name it, they have it. rockauto.com has reliably low prices, 30, 50, sometimes 100% savings when you use rockauto.com. Best of all are their prices. It is a place where anybody can go for any vehicle. Go to rockauto.com right now and see all the parts that are available for your car or truck. Right, Locked On in the How Did You Hear About Us box so that they know that we sent you. Amazing selection, reliably low prices, all the parts your car will ever need at rockauto.com.
Yes. So behind Zack Greinke in his 8 innings, Gurriel had 4 RBIs. The A's win 8-1, and this is the Astros have won 7th in the last 8 games, and they're back within a game, half game of first place. So as Johnny and I think Texas Sports TV has said, the Astros just need to go ahead and win and get back in first place, even if it's just for a day. Just I don't want to look for what's the word, emotional wins or just something like that. I just think it would mean so much for the Astros being first place after being basically in last place of mid-April to be where they are right now. That just means so much. And I know that a lot of people were saying, well, smoke and mirrors, the A's aren't that good a team. Yeah, that's what I've been saying. The A's are not a great team. The only reason the A's won game 1 is because the Astros bullpen just fell apart. They kept on walking batters, and you keep on walking batters, the control is just going to just mess you up. You can't keep on giving a professional baseball team, especially a team like the A's, extra chances.
This race is ours versus Oakland. I don't see anybody else competing. If your third place team is Seattle, there's no way anybody outside of our 2 teams are going to battle for the AOS. And yeah, we're not scoreboard watching, but we are right now because these are divisional games and they're important. And the more wins you can stack up against your divisional opponents, the better chance you have at winning. Eric, they're at a plus 62 run differential. Oakland is still negative 14. We had in these first 2 games, what makes the first loss even more frustrating is I believe we have 28 hits in these first 2 games against them, and we've out-hit them and we've actually outscored them. But you're going to lose those games. That's the game of baseball. And it was important for them to come back. It was important for Greinke to have a second start in a row. He looks like he's really firing on all cylinders. I mean, he hadn't thrown that hard in a while. And if Zack Greinke gets in midseason form, watch out. And Eric, on this team, you've got guys like Yuli Gurriel that people are like, I'm seriously going, this guy could be in the MVP hunt at the end of the season if he continues to do what he's doing. A, he's got the glove. B, he's got the bat, and he's doing it all. He leads the major leagues, I believe, in hits and in RBI. I think it's in RBIs.
No. He's second because Trey Mancini had a big day today. So
okay.
I deleted that tweet on Twitter and corrected it.
Okay. Well, I'm just going off the broadcast what they said when I think. Okay.
But Trey Mancini had a big day. He had 2 home runs and 5 RBIs. So
regardless, he's at the top. I mean, he is doing it all at the plate, and it's really important for guys like Myles Straw to get a 3-hit day. He needs that because I know at times it seems like we pile on him or people pile on these players. And of course, it's a hyperbolic chamber with this lineup. When you have Yordan Alvarez and Yuli Gurriel and Altuve and Correa and Bregman, and the list goes on, and then you have someone like Straw who's basically fighting for his major league life every day, or it seems like it. It's important for him to contribute because this is a team game. And those guys in that locker room root for Myles Straw. Even though we may not think he's great or deserves to be there, hey, he's going to go in there and he's going to grind every day. And that's something you can't take away from him.
Yes, and so a lot of people have been talking about Myles Straw, and basically Straw had a 3-hit game today. So they were legit hits. They weren't just the other day where the second baseman was running to the bag and the ball just got by him. They were legit hits, and he looked pretty comfortable out there. I know in the game before he made a terrible catch, and I believe he said that he's going to make that catch 99% of the time. And to drop a ball, that ball kind of sucked. That's definitely a catchable ball that any center fielder makes. Stuff like that, I think, is going to hurt defensively. I try to put that in pass and try to move on to the next day. But Dusty Baker says that Straw's the best center fielder we have right now, and the job is to help him get better. It hurts not having Gary Pettis here, who is an outfielder guru, and he calls Straw almost weekly to kind of talk to him. So it hurts to have him not here. And I know everybody's calling for Jose Siri to come up. I think they still want Jose Siri to get some more experience and get some more playing time with the Skeeters, and then his time will come. But they think that Straw can do this. But the defensive metrics does not say that Straw is a great defensive guy. He is not Jake Marisnick. I'm not saying go trade for Jake Marisnick. I'm not saying that. But he is not going to be. He's not going to be. Nobody's going to confuse him as a good defender out there in center fielder. He's going to make the routine plays. His speed will get you there. But it just, for some reason, sometimes, like we were talking about it during the game, like when he's trying to, in the middle of a double play, he just kind of slides halfway in between first and second base. I know he's not trying to slide to be safe, but right. You would hope that he like tries to slide and maybe tries to disrupt the second baseman or something like that.
Well, I personally would keep running through. It just does seem like he tends to retreat a little bit, but.
And I love Yuli swimming. I have not seen Yuli do the swimming slide in a long time. It was
he did great.
Bring that back, and it's great to bet on Yuli and all that he brings to his organization. And I saw somebody in the comments earlier saying that he would hopes that when Yuli's ready to retire, that's when the Astros let him go. I hope that's what we're doing. So let's talk about betonline.ag.
Yeah, BetOnline is the easiest and fastest way to bet on all the sports action. If you're betting on who's going to get the MVP this year, Shohei Ohtani or Yuli Gurriel, go to betonline.ag because baseball season is in full swing. You can keep track of all the action there. Get all the latest news, odds, and info on, and with all your sporting needs, whether it's MLB or NBA. I know the playoffs have started, and that is in full swing. NHL playoffs are here. UFC and MMA. WNBA is even here. You can go check that out. Before the next pitch for baseball, head over to BetOnline on your laptop or mobile device and check out all the great sporting news, sign up bonuses, and contest information. Don't sit on the sidelines anymore, as this is your chance to get in the game as teams prep for their runs in the playoffs. Head to the website and use your mobile device to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, your sportsbook experts. Promo code Locked On.
I know that our little thumbnail, our little image on our little YouTube podcast is going to be Jose Altuve, but Yuli was the player of the game. And I mean, I guess Greinke was also a player of the game, but Yuli's at bat in it. What was that, in the 8th inning? I believe it was when Astros scored all those runs, or it was in 7th inning. But when he had that big double, and it almost was a home run, but that was a game changer. That really almost went out, and you could see the pitcher. He's like, "Oh crap, I did it again. Oops, I did it again."
He jumped in frustration. I mean, everybody thought it was out. And I'm not going to fault TK for that. I always kind of get onto him. Like, I feel like TK, when he makes these excited calls, he's like, and it's a fly out to center field. But that ball, I'm shocked it didn't go out. Speaking of that, Altuve, I don't know if the left fielder should have jumped for Altuve's last hit, but Altuve nearly hit a second home run today.
Yeah, I saw that.
And
And
so
he made a good catch at the wall. That I don't know if that would have been a home run, but he definitely robbed a double.
I
So
think that might have been a Kevin Kiermaier jump. Remember those?
yeah. So Gurriel, Texas Sports TV says that Gurriel is the 2021 MVP, and yeah. So I think at this point, I know it's still early in the season, so we'll have to see how it all plays out. But yeah, Gurriel is the MVP so far. But Alvarez, what he's done, and just there's so much depth in this lineup.
Alvarez has that 7-game hitting streak going right now too.
Right.
I mean, this guy, Eric, I was thinking this when he hit his single. I was like, he hits the ball almost too hard. Like, he doesn't give a chance for the runners to get around the bases because his ball's in the fielder's glove like instantaneously. He just is. I mean, he looks so good up there, man. It was a fun game to watch tonight.
Yeah, overall, it was a great game. It was good to see Myles Straw, especially after that game on Tuesday. Everything went kind of bad, or Wednesday, everything kind of went wrong for Myles Straw. It was good to see, or I don't even know what day it is. These late games are just messing with me. Tuesday night or whatever, whenever we played game one. But it's good to see him get that confidence. And will he be able to carry that into next game? And I saw somebody say, well, why don't you go ahead and bat Myles Straw ninth? And then because Martin Maldonado is not patient this year, and you're not giving him a chance to steal bases. I'm honestly not seeing Myles Straw taking a lot of opportunities to steal bases on his own, and he just.
I'm not sold. I don't know what it is. I don't know if he's overthinking it. I don't know if he's delayed in getting there. He just. Like, he's got the speed, but just because you have the speed doesn't mean you can steal the base every time. And some of it may be set up, some of it may be the calls from third base, what signals he's getting, some of it may be the situations, but ultimately it comes down to the players. And if the player is good enough at stealing, they'll have a green light. They'll let them go. I mean, I know if I let my 14-year-olds that are really good on our team, I'm like, look, don't even wait for the sign. If you got an open base, just go grab it. Grab it at first pitch. Don't even wait. And so he just has been not very impressive in the stolen base area. And I think that's where some of the criticism has also come. But Eric, I do want to say this. I do want to mention this. In the minor leagues, we have a lot of dudes that are mashing right now. Yeah, so we had some minor league games that happened on Tuesday, and you had in AAA Sugarland, they did lose, but right fielder Brian De La Cruz had a 2-homer game. He went 2 for 5. JJ Machednik hit a walk-off home run for the Corpus Christi Hooks in the 10th inning. And then you had AJ Lee hit his first homer of the season in the win in Class A Fayetteville. They blew out Augusta's Zach Daniels, went 2 for 6 with a homer and 3 RBIs. The one name that I was expecting to see on there was Jose Siri. But the Astros, have a lot of young guys that are excited to play. I mean, because the minor leagues, they didn't get to play at all last year. So I think all the calls for Siri or Leon or anybody coming up, I think they're going to have to be tempered because of the later start. It's going to be a little bit longer than what people want. And I mean, if Myles Straw puts a 3-hit game here or there together, he's not going to be riding the pine for some guy coming up from a AAA club. I mean, that guy's got to be hitting 4 or 5 home runs per game for them to take a spot from a big league player that is contributing.
Something that a lot of y'all may not know before we move on to the big news for Friday's game is Myles Straw is hitting 344 in his last 8 games.
Wow.
He's batting 11 for 32. So chew on that, all you Myles Straw haters out there. Chew on that. Alrighty, so the also big news of the day, I almost did an emergency podcast earlier or something just to talk about this because Tyler Ivey, I know this is a local kid. When I say local kid, I mean a local kid from Dallas, Texas, and he's going to be able to make his major league debut against his hometown, his childhood team. He grew
Wow.
up watching the Texas Rangers, and he's going to be able to make his major league debut. And can you imagine this past weekend, Dusty Baker and Brett Strom called him over to Minute Maid Park and said, "Hey, Tyler, we're going to go ahead and add you to the taxi squad to go to Oakland, and then you're going to travel with us to Arlington, and we're going to have you probably start on Friday. Is that okay with you?" That would be great. Go
Yeah.
all office space on them or something like that. So, but yeah, I mean, this is the ninth best Astros prospect in the Astros farm system, and this is just I'm trying to find my notes on this, but this was this weekend, and he said that I was taken aback. I was like, "Whoa, hold on a second, are you serious?" And
He
he
thought it was
said,
an April Fool's joke.
"Yeah," and it's not even April.
I
And
know.
so he was added to the 40-man roster this past November. He has a very funky delivery. I'm excited to see what this looks like. I've heard about it. I think I've seen some video, but he does throw a 95 mile per. I can't talk. It's so late. 95 mile per hour fastball with a curveball. He does have slider and changeup. And Dusty Baker said, "I like what I've seen. I think I've got a pretty good eye on things. I'm hoping that the big stage is not too much for him," which I don't think it would be. He's a pretty determined young man and borderline stubborn, which I kind of like a bit. He's been he'll be pitching in front of his hometown folk, which is, a lot of times make you pitch better. So he'll be out there on Friday Night Lights.
No, yeah,
And
and you remember Taylor Jones debuted in Seattle, where he's from, and he was rained down with boos. I'm wondering if his hometown Arlington natives are going to be booing the son of Arlington or the Dallas-Fort Worth area like they normally do. You know, I mean, the Astros come to town. We're kind of we're not bitter rivals. I think we're more embattled rivals with them. And, hey, we just swept them. And this is our first chance to go to Minute Maid Park 2.0 and go and grill some burgers in Tough Shed Stadium. That would be, I think it'll be great. I think Tyler's going to come out and have a great game. He's definitely going to be jazzed. So what you hope is that he doesn't come in too on fire emotionally where,
right.
He lets stuff go, but he settles in, and hopefully the offense comes out, since they're their away team. Jose hits a first pitch home run or something like that. They put a crooked number on the board in the first inning. That would really help the young pitcher.
Poor Rangers. I feel so bad for them. Since 1994 and 2019, they were never no hit at their Globe Life Park. Since they moved to Globe Life Field, they've been no hit twice. So
yeah, so four of the 6 no hitters have come against the AL West. The other 2 are against the Seattle Mariners. So the AL West,
yeah, and the record for no hitters in a season is 7.
That's right.
And they've already reached 6. Technically, if you want to include Madison Bumgarner's, it's already been 7. But that was a shortened game because
because if you change the rules and say you can only play 7 innings, you should, because if that doesn't count, you shouldn't count the strikeouts, you shouldn't count the hits. I digress.
Yeah, but so let's just hope that Tyler Ivey and Brandon Belak or Ken Emanuel go out there and have a combined no-hitter. Am I already jinxing it 4 days ahead of time or 3 days ahead of time?
No, man, no.
Okay,
Dude,
right.
I talked about both no-hitters that happened the last 2 days while they were happening, so jinxes may not be a thing.
Alrighty, so let's talk a little bit about today's game. It's going to be an interesting matchup. I think it's going to be Luis Garcia versus Cole Irvin, right?
Yes.
And so Luis Garcia is coming off of a game where he wasn't pitching his best, but he still pitched 5 innings, and that's all you can ask for somebody in his shoes. I know that eventually he'll probably end up back in the Skeeter's rotation to maybe as a depth option as soon as all the other guys return. But Luis Garcia finally got his win. He's 1-3 with a 3.34 ERA. Cole Irvin is the let's say the A's ace right now. He's 3-4 with a 3.02 ERA. Let's talk a little bit about the matchups before we wrap up.
Yeah, Cole Irvin continues to perform as a top starter on the staff, getting through 6 2/3 innings of one-run ball against the Twins in his last time out. The left-hander leads the rotation with basically a 3.02 ERA, posted a 1.89 ERA over his last 6 outings. So he's definitely, for all intents and purposes, he is their ace. Luis Garcia did only allow 1 run against the Rangers last time he faced him. I think this offense is firing like it's never been. I think they're going to go home and go, wow, we're at home. We're at Minute Maid Park, and they're going to hit the ball like they are in Minute Maid Park. And I think they're going to do some damage because Yordan Alvarez, they don't have many bats against this guy, but Yordan Alvarez is batting 800 against them. And I think you mentioned this on the podcast yesterday. Correa's at 500, and Leibniz Diaz is 667, 2 for 3. And so you've got a lot of guys in there. Michael Brantley's even 333 against them. So they've had a lot of success. There's only one guy that has an average of 500 or more against Luis Garcia, and that's Matt Olson, 1 for 2. So this definitely looks to appear to be a game that the Astros should be able to come out and win. And did I say Minute Maid Park? Did I totally mixed that up. I was thinking of Cole Irvin's start. They're not playing they're not playing in Arlington tomorrow, folks. That's my bad.
It's 12:42 a.m.
It is okay.
So it's fine.
So hey, let's go. So they'll go to the Coliseum tomorrow. They'll take the series. They'll win their 7th out of their last 8 series. They will do great. And right, Steve, yes, walks have killed us, but tonight there were no walks. There were no walks, none, zero, zilch, nada. And that's phenomenal. You saved your bullpen. You've got them because you got 3 games right after this. You got to go from West Coast time to Central time. And so it's good to have a rested bullpen. And hopefully tomorrow, Luis Garcia can go more than 5 innings,
All righty. So today on the Locked On Today podcast, Steph Curry wasn't enough for the Warriors against the Lakers. Get more of the sports news you need in less times with the Locked On Today podcast. Follow the Locked On Today podcast on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts. So tomorrow will be a much earlier game. That's a good thing. So we won't have to be up till midnight. And we're excited about that. And don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube, and go Astros. And hopefully we'll be talking about the Astros being in first place tomorrow. Go Stros.